Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my postpartum wife? I had to speed up the process of actually talking to her since the story spread quickly around on the internet, inevitably reaching someone involved with friends or family, and now way more people I personally know are getting the details than I'm comfortable with. Oh well, my bad. Before I ended up chatting with her, I opened up to my parents and sister about what was happening in detail. My parents were flustered at me for hiding the more unsavory details, to say the least, and are probably going to be checking up on me daily for the rest of the year to make sure I'm okay. My sister would probably have to be held back from thrashing her, so I had to get a friend to help with the chat, since my sister would not be able to contain herself. So basically, within hours of the story going into the digital stratosphere, I called my wife back as quickly as I could to finally sit down and talk. We chose a local park this morning and I had a friend of mine record the conversation from beginning to end. I was literally ready to hear the generic affair story and get out of Dodge. But of course, it got complicated. We met at a section with picnic tables and picked one as far away from other people as possible to avoid them getting wrapped up in any awkwardness. She looked terrible. Haggard as stressed and thankfully without the baby. She tried to have the big emotional chat and whatnot. I wasn't tearing up or acting like a hardened badass. I frankly was just wanting to figure out what this was all for. I didn't even get to ask the question before the floodgates spilled. I'm going to attempt to relay this story as best as I can because even looking back on the recording it's a mess, but also because I don't 100% believe it, so fair warning, it could all be fake. This all started with her mother. As I said before, my wife's father was absent. He started off well, having 2 sons with her mother before her. When her mother got pregnant with her, her father went from being the picture-perfect guy he was at first, and slowly changed into a negligent, abusive, unfaithful, and unsupportive jackass, ending with him disappearing when her mother was delivering. He's been in and out of prison since. No one knows why he did it. The impression her mother always gave was that she was a strong, resilient woman who withstood anything life threw at her and did anything for her kids. She has claimed to be in therapy for years. In reality, she has managed to conceal a deep hatred for men outside of her sons, but according to my wife, there was favoritism towards her. My wife also found out she stopped therapy almost a decade ago but never told anyone. Her mother seemed to always have some slight against me, and now I know why. She was never hostile but certainly wasn't warm to me, and hearing about her secret hatred, I kind of knew where this was going. Roughly about half a year before she got pregnant, my MIL slowly began sowing seeds of doubt and bitterness into my wife. Apparently she had a full mental break. She told her about me staying late at work and possibly hiding an affair, or that I provide the majority of the income, setting her up for a hard divorce. Everything my Meal's husband did to her, she convinced my wife I would do to her, and she pumped this poison into her for months. My wife always idolized her mother, and compounding that with anxiety she's suffered from for years, she dove in deep. As soon as she got pregnant, like on the dot, she fell into a mental hole within days, and that's when her mother got hold of her again. Hearing about her pregnancy apparently triggered something fierce in my MIL, and it spiraled from there. She had my wife fully convinced it was happening again. Every single thing my wife did to hurt me was at the behest of my mother-in-law. Combined with pregnancy hormones and undiagnosed mental illness she claims to have, no confirmation, and stress, she completely lost her mind. She 100% believed I would bail, so she was punishing me first, culminating in her moving in with her mother and leaving me out of the birth. While I was sending the papers and started the divorce proceedings, she kicked into full-blown postpartum depression. And when her mother finally got her, when she finally beat me, which I guess was her victory over her ex, did I mention she's fucking crazy, she had no more use of my wife. The family involved in the birth included my Emil's sister and my wife's brothers. While my Mil and her sister knew what was going on, my BILs got fed the BS narrative my Mil spun. When my Mil was done with her plan, the entire facade came down and my BILs found out everything upon questioning my wife. They were horrified. Needless to say, postpartum, facing a very grueling divorce on her side, no longer welcome in our home, and having done everything to alienate me from my son at the behest of a broken lunatic, reality hit her like a truck. She torched her entire life because her mother is a broken shell of a human who used her to enact her own sense of justice. The very mother who washed her hands of her after she got what she wanted. Or at least, this is the story she gave me. Frankly, there are many holes in her story. The starting point of the pattern of abuse is the claims of who was involved in the delivery, me being absent from appointments, the friend, who she confirmed is female she's staying with, and of course my alleged paternity. It seems way too fucking crazy to be made up. Who the hell would go to the effort to make this up, facing what she's facing? As soon as she finished, she said she's setting up a paternity test and gave me the information I need. With luck, it should be done in roughly a week or so once I do my part. She gave the most sincere apologies any human being has ever given. She's begged for another chance. I was frankly too stunned to say anything, so she left and promised to call soon. I don't think I can give her another chance. I don't think I can ever risk anything like this again. God, I'm still hoping she's just being a cheating psycho and spinning a sympathy story to try and throw me off, because this got way too complicated.